Hello, lovely beings. Today, it's the third episode of the Human Lightbulbs podcast, where I talk with very inspiring human beings that share their love and happiness with humanity. And I myself, I'm a yoga and meditation teacher, energy healer, and I also give energy healing courses. And I give lots of talks and interviews wherever I can spread any awareness. And today I'm very excited to have Steve Nobel here. Very welcome.
Hello, everyone.
And Steve Nobel makes the most amazing meditations on YouTube. And so happy to have you here.
Oh, pleasure. Nice to connect with you in sunny Spain. I'm in rainy England.
So wherever we are, we have the sun inside of ourselves. And we're happy to share this with all of you.
That's very good, yeah.
Yes, indeed. And wanted to ask you, how do you get the idea of making all these amazing meditations that you make?
It wasn't an idea really. I was in Greece. I was running a little retreat in Greece in when was it? I don't know, 2014 or something like that, I think it was. And I was in a little chapel in the edge of the sea, by the sea. There was a space for about 8 people. You know, those little tiny Greek places. Maybe you have them in Spain, I don't know. And while I was there meditating, I felt this pressure on my head. And I'm like, oh, what is that? And it felt like someone was trying to connect with me or communicate with me. And it took me about 3 days or more to really start working out, what is this? And oh, someone wants me to do something, a meditation on what? A goddess. Wow, I had a lot of resistance because I know, why am I doing meditations for goddesses? You know, hey, I don't have a womb. So I think I didn't feel I should be doing it. But anyway, I did it, the first one, years ago. And in the beginning, not much interest. I put it on YouTube and maybe 20 people saw it. I don't know. But then they kept coming. More of them kept coming. Star races, Egyptian and Greek gods and goddesses, mainly, some Celtic, or 1 or 2 Middle Eastern ones. And I'm like, okay, in the beginning, it didn't feel like it made much sense as to the order. I was thinking, why don't I just focus on Egyptian? And then, no, it had to be something else. And then something else would come. It felt very much like I'm jumping around. But now it makes sense because the dots are connecting. All of these, there's a whole Greek, a whole Egyptian, a whole chakra, a whole psychic protection. They're all starting to form. But my mind was like, where are we going now? So I was a bit like, well, I just say, okay, we do it. But one of the things is that when I get them, I have to run it through my body so I understand, what is this about? What's the point of it? Where does it take people? And if I go and I feel, yes, it's complete, I do it. If it's not complete, something missing, I speak to them and say, something missing. What, have I missed something? I get the missing piece and click, okay, now it's ready. So it's a bit like that. It's a bit of a journey backwards and forwards. Like maybe musicians go through this process. They make some music, the recording studio go, no, it's not quite right. And then it goes back and it's kind of backward and forward. In the early days, I just used to be a receiver, but now I speak to them going, hey guys, what about this? Or what about that? And so they just give to me or they don't, if they're not interested. So if they give it to me, they're interested. If I get nothing, oh, okay, they're not this time or not ready. So yeah, I've been doing now for about over 7, properly over 7 years, I would say. Yeah.
And the names, do you do a lot of research for it, or do you get sometimes also just names coming to you? Because I see some names coming by that I never heard of. This, is it something that comes from within, or that you do so much research already before and that it comes all together?
Well, I'm interested in galactic history. I'm interested in human history. So, and some things I've never heard of before. Some things I like, what is this? So there's one coming, which is a while away, Alpha Centauri. And I felt into it. It felt like peace and a resolution of war. I'm like, oh, wow. And started looking around and I saw some people talking about in Alpha Centauri, there was a resolution of the galactic wars. So I'm like, hey, okay, that's cool. It seems to be working. sometimes, like a recent one I put up is the goddess Isis. I know very well. I've been doing work with goddess Isis for years now. But her sister Nephthys was one that I'm like, she's the dark sister, the light sister of the sun in the morning and the dark sister of the night. And I was looking at her thinking, oh, I don't know. But recently I got a very strong, I have to do something. So I'm like, what? What do I do? And actually, I got a card, a tarot card, not a tarot card, like an oracle card, Egyptian. And it came Nephthys. And I'm like, what do I, and so I started connecting in, and they told me, well, we can call upon Isis for protection in the day and Nephthys protection in the night. I'm like, oh, okay. And I did a little research. Well, what is she about then? And I wanted to know a little bit more about her. And then it all came, the whole thing. And it's up on the site, not publicly yet, but it will be public sometime. So I do look around sometimes. If I get something, I go, what is that? I want to look up and go, I want to know, what is this stuff? And yeah, so there's Lyra that I have to do. I've done one on Lyra, but YouTube threw it off because the music they said belonged to somebody else. It didn't, but I didn't argue with them. But I need to do another one on Lyra at some point. Lyra is an important one. So there's all these, but there's so many. There's just me. I have to make time to sit down and, there's about 10 that I'm waiting to do because I've just no time.
Yeah, I see a lot of things coming by lately. So I think you're like a lot of different videos and it's a lot of inspiration, but it's also the energy is now like, it's like really lots of energy, like the inspirational energy is also really even more, like it gets more and more, I feel.
Yeah. Well, I trained myself. I used to be a director of a spiritual organization in London. We used to promote authors and everything. And I was there for 13 years. And one practice I did was every day was to be inspired. So I look at music, I look at YouTube something, I go and look at flowers, I look at the sun rising. And in my being now, it's a practice of inspiration, opening the channel, and then ideas come to me all the time. I'm walking, oh, that's a good idea. I have to write it down before I forget it. So this is what I do. And any writer or artist has the same thing. You have to open the channel for creative inspiration. And in the olden days in Greece and Rome, they saw that inspiration and genius was not something we possess, but something we open to. After the Renaissance, or during the Renaissance, the ideas changed. It was like, I am a genius. I am a creative, whatever, But it's nonsense because genius comes and goes. Just like enlightenment, some spiritual teachers, they get this enlightenment, they're open, they're wise, and then it goes. And then it comes back. And then it goes maybe. They say that about Osho, that he had some phases of, sometimes he went into silence for a while, it came back. And so I think all of these things are things we open to in the universe or we're close to. And most people are not aware that it's something they open to. They think, go to university, get a degree, get smart, develop your left brain. So your left brain's so heavy, you kind of topple over. And that's the way you get on in the world. But I'm the opposite. I'm developing, well, actually, I'm doing both, develop both and connecting them like a big ankh.
Yeah.
Oh, you do ankh. Yeah. Oh, you have an Atlantean one, isn't it?
I give healings away with ankh. And I think also like we become, once we let more and more blockages go, we are like that creative source, like life force energy. And then we are that creative beings. Yeah,
absolutely. So I work in opening the inner channel, crown to base, and above the crown and below the base into the earth. So to the core of the crystalline core of the earth, crystalline core of the sun. And the crystalline core of the sun is a stargate to other dimensions, other suns. So lots of archangels come through that. So you can meet archangels of the sun, Pleiadian sun, Syrian sun. These are the three suns I work with a lot. I like those archangels. And they're all kinds of interdimensional beings. Of course, the most important thing is to keep the channel clear from interference. And at this time, there's lots of interference going on. The nature of the planet, really.
But it's like so, like you can tap into so many different like realities for people. I think it's also really difficult for people to like focus on like what is real, what is like not real, what is like what gives me energy, what not. It's like really for people now at this moment, like really difficult, I guess.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people are trying to escape the planet, trying to get up to the 10th dimension, 12th dimension. I'm trying to bring that into the body, into this world. And that way, I think that's the way of ascension, really. We bring the light in the body, we anchor on the body, we're in the world. I'm pretty normal in the world. I don't go around looking strange. I live in Brighton, which is a very alternative place, but and I go to festivals, then I do dress up, but otherwise I'm pretty normal. I bring light in my energy field, but apart from that, you see me, you go, hey, it's pretty normal. I haven't even got all my jewelry on today. I got loads of rings and everything, but I haven't put it on today. So I think it's about light in the body. It's not about, I mean, the tools are very good. We have all these tools around, but eventually the tools can be dropped because our unconscious mind's got it. We go, oh, I've got it. So I can even with an ankh, you can visualize it in your hand and you don't have to have it in your hand. I can visualize the sun's energy. I don't have to actually be looking at it anymore because I know the pathways. We create pathways internally. And when we create the pathways internally, our unconscious knows those pathways. And most of those pathways are closed to the majority of people in the world because they have no idea. I was talking to someone recently, they're so focused on left brain and scientific evidence. And this guy was asking me, what's the scientific evidence? What's the study for this and that? I'm like, really? If that's the way you move through the world, you are going to have a tough time, But a lot of people are moving through the world that way. They want to see the evidence for it. And I think in the spiritual world, people want to answer the question, how do I know this is real? Which is a bit of a different question. And so you need to know that through experience, not through some scientific study. Your experience, how do I know manifesting is real? Well, you try it a few times and you may have something you call coincidence. And then you go, hey, this is a bit of a strange coincidence again and again and again. Or you might think of signs and synchronicities and then you get something, you go, hey, is this a coincidence? And then it comes again and again and again. And then you go, what? Maybe it's not. Maybe there is something. We have to, I was in the beginning really pushing the universe to prove to me it's real. And in the end, and they gave me some really strong signs. And in the end, I got this message, stop pushing. You've got the evidence. Now just get on with it. My brother's a medium and he's a spiritualist medium. And his job is to tell people that life after death is real and help them to understand it. That's his job. My job is not that. My job is I don't keep going. And people go to the church for messages. I want to know my auntie's really okay on the other side. But for me, after a while, I go, okay, I get it. Move on. There's life after death. Now what? Now how do we live a graceful life? How do we live a miraculous life? How do we live a life where we manifest more ease in our life? These are kind of things I'm really more interested in. I'm not so interested in the kind of off the planet, talking in the 12th dimension and just going off. I know people like they talk and they're off the planet somewhere. And I just say to them, I can't follow you. I don't know, where are you now? You need to be here. I'm here. You're here. Be here. It's important to be here now and bring the light here. Don't allow the light to pull you up. We need to be grounded in the earth. This is very important. If we're not grounded, then the light will start lifting like a balloon. We'll be like, woo, and flying. And this happens to some people,
Yeah, but I also believe that we're here to embody that light, to embody what we hear and to bring that information and that spirit, bring it here, but really ground it here and to bring that new energy into this world.
Yeah, we're born for a reason here. It's not an easy choice to choose to go into some wombs. Some wombs are pretty, my mother's womb was not easy. Chain smoker. And I come out like, goodness, and my mother's chain smoked most of her life. I can't bear to be near it now. But so I was like coughing in the womb. It's a difficult choice. We choose to come here for a reason. We choose all these kind of difficulties, challenges. But now we're here. I know people who go, this is my last lifetime. I don't want to be back here anymore. And I'm like, well, maybe not. Maybe further down the timeline, life is more graceful and you'll want to come back. Like the planet is going to get easier. Maybe in 50 years or 100 years, it's going to take time, obviously, because the planet is still going through a big transition. And the transition is not easy. It's difficult. It's about being on a ship that's wobbling. You've got the waves, the light waves one side, the dark waves the other side, and the ship's going like that. we have to learn to sail through these choppy waters, because the planet at the moment, everything is wobbling. All the political systems are wobbling. Everything. People are not trusting the government. In this, when I was born, people trusted their government. People trusted the banks. Now people are looking and they're going, "What's that? What's that? What's that?" And social media. I mean, if you go on Twitter or X, what they call it now, you see it's full of stuff around people wanting to reveal what's behind the curtain. And a lot of people don't want to see what's behind the curtain, because they want to trust the government, they want to trust the media, they want to trust the life they're given. But we know, really, I mean, well, I would say there are a lot of big stories in the world which are making people question. 9/11 was a big question for a lot of people. For me, when I saw it, I'm like, wow, the story is not real. I'm hearing what I'm seeing on the news and what I'm feeling, and that is not matching. Someone is not telling the truth. And then the recent lockdown, global lockdown, and all the arm twisting that went on, you know, lots of arm twisting. Like, why are they twisting everyone's arms and persuading and pushing all the time for all of this nonsense? And a lot of people woke up from this. So the dark are pushing their agenda, and it's not ended. And a lot of people who have been asleep are waking up, looking at the world going, what's going on? What's really happening? You know, and lately there's a lot of stuff about child trafficking that's coming out. There's also stuff about Satanism, which is coming out in high quarters like Hollywood. This stuff has been going on for a while, but it's now being revealed because the light is shining deep into those cracks, and you can now see, and some people can't escape from it. The dark forces, and the planet has been still ruled by dark forces, really, but their time is not, they haven't got long. They're willing to sacrifice people. They don't mind sacrificing. So you see people like Epstein and Weinstein, these get sacrificed. Boris Johnson in England, hey, we'll throw them to the wolves. They don't mind. And for them, it's just part of the game. They throw people to the wolves so long as the game keeps going. That's what the dark forces go. So they will sacrifice people if it suits them. But the light is growing stronger. And one belief that a lot of people are being challenged now is that the light is stronger than the dark, because for thousands of years, the dark on the planet has been stronger than the light. And so now people are like, but really, how do I know the light is stronger? Am I safe? Is it safe? I've been killed 20 lifetimes by the dark. How can I be sure? This is for a lot of people. And a lot of people's throat chakras have been impacted badly because they've been clammed up, silenced, or killed. So a lot of people's throats are badly affected. And yeah, it's just about clearing out all of this old karmic gunk, clearing the channel, and getting on with our life's mission. I mean, it sounds simple, but it's not always that simple.
No, definitely not. And also, we're like clearing the throat chakra, like feeling fully free to like share what you need to share. For a lot of people, that's quite difficult. Like, what will people think, and but it's also because maybe a lot of lifetimes they couldn't really like express themselves.
Exactly, yeah.
It's more and more. And I see also more and more people waking up everywhere. And I thought first it was 2020, like, now it's happening. It's happening now. But I feel more, it's now happening. Like, really, the momentum is really now.
This year is, we've been through a couple of years of a lot of darkness, where the dark forces tried everything they could to lock the planet down and push people into all kinds of, and a lot of people were very afraid of it. But now I feel, I think this is, they haven't finished, but they'll still keep doing their stuff. But I think this is the turning point. This year is a really big turning point of a lot of people coming out the closet. I had a client not so long before this call, actually, and this is very common. I see it a lot of times. She wanted to get on with her mission. She wanted to get on with the business, her healing, and something was holding her back. Something abstract, abstract. What is it? And we found out it's a force. Where's it coming from? Other lifetimes, and this force is protecting her because she's been killed in other lifetimes. It's almost like a force that's going, no, I know you've been hurt. You're not going forward. I meet this a lot of times in clients. And so what I said to her was, turn to that energy and tell the energy your life. Show mentally the life you're leading. Show them, she was in Australia, show them Australia. Show them no one's getting burnt anymore. No one's getting Spanish Inquisition anymore. No one. And the energy always happens, usually happens, is shocked. Like, wow, I didn't understand. And then it backs away and leaves her alone. Sometimes those energies don't leave because they're not there to protect, they're there to just interfere with. That's a different case. But there's a lot of protecting energies which comes from, you've been killed in 10 lifetimes, therefore, no, you're not doing that anymore. We are not going there. It's too dangerous. But this lifetime, we have to go there. You know, my family, I was at a family gathering, and one person in the family it shakes his head with what I'm doing and just like, what is this starseed stuff? But he's one of these people that wants evidence for it, wants a scientific study on it. Like, well, there's no studies I know of anyone. I did send him some factual stuff, particularly about lockdown, and he just, even from doctors and scientists, he just wouldn't. His belief system is very strong. When people have that strong belief system, you can give them evidence, but they'll look at it and they'll discount it however they discount it. No, I believe what the government, I believe what the scientific medical establishment tells me. I don't believe this is just one doctor. This is just one specialist. I don't believe these people. I believe what the whole establishment tells me. And I said to him, it's great to believe and want to believe in governments and these institutions. When my mother was born, she started smoking at 15. And the doctors then said, smoking is good for your health. In England, smoking is good for you. I don't know, maybe in Holland and maybe in America, I don't know. She was 14, she was born, so this was the mid 40s, I think. And I said to him, this is experts. These are the people you believe in. You can't just believe in that. Where's your intuition? Where's your common sense? Smoking is good for your health, full of chemicals. He had no answer for it. And then he went on to something else. So, you know, I don't tend to really bother to get engaged with that kind of conversation much these days, because it's just pointless, really.
Well, even if you try, they will make it up with their mind, have their own story, and they believe in that. But it's about like having the connection with your intuition and your heart, and then you just know things. Huh? Like before, you needed to see things to believe it, and then you need to believe it, and you see things. But now it's just a knowing. We know, and the more you have that, what you said, like the more you understand, like people, like you can tell them whatever you want, but they will not hear you. They have different like frequency in a different universe. And the more you want to connect with people that are like-minded, have like an open mind and are on the same path, and then yeah, that is really nice. Yeah, then you get even more energy from it.
Yeah, I had a discussion with someone years ago. He was a spiritual minded person and very much into the coaching world. And he asked me, what's this organization I was working? He said, what's the business plan? What's your business plan for the next 5 years? I said, I don't have one. I don't have one. Who knows what's going to happen in 5 years? You're doing this. You're guessing. Business plans are guessing. You know, your best guess maybe. I say, I'm trying to work out what's happening this year and keep the organization on track for this year with the trends. I'm keeping my finger on the pulse and trying to move it flexibly. If I lock it into place going, this is our plan, this is where we're going, and then the world moves, we're going that way and the world's moved that way. So in my business, this one here, which I do myself now, I run it on intuition. I run it on guidance, basically. And I have no business plan. Who knows what's going to happen? I checked this guy's website recently. I wonder what's he up to, and he hasn't done hardly anything in several years. I'm looking at him thinking he's looking very old as well, looking very gray, and like the world has really impacted him. And I haven't spoken to him, but I'm wondering what's happened to him. He's not visible very much anymore. He hasn't written anything much anymore. Is he just retired? Is he just doing anything? He was one who really believed in experts. And we had a disagreement. I said, I don't believe in experts. Experts, what do experts know? Who's an expert? An expert is someone who believes they know everything about an area. There is no experts because you can't know everything. Everything changes. I believe in beginner's mind. You know, beginner's mind, the Zen idea of beginner's mind. Everything, you're looking at new and fresh that you don't know, because if you think you know something, suddenly something new comes in and you're like shocked. Wow, what's happened here? I remember watching a video of the tsunami in, I think it was in Thailand in the 2007, was it, or something, where the sea went out and a lot of tourists were standing there looking, going, wow, isn't that beautiful? The sea's gone out. And then, boom, it came in and killed a lot of people. The tribal people in the inland, were up in the hills, and all the animals apparently left. And this is very common, actually. Tribal people, which have an intuition, very connected to the earth. And animals, of course, very connected to intuition. They feel and they smell and they sense, were away. They knew well ahead, but in the Western tourism, Western tourists who have no connection were looking and bang, killed. And this is the problem. If you don't have a connection to intuition, and intuition has two parts to it. One is the very earthly one, which is heart downwards. We're connected to the earth. We're feeling the vibrations of the earth. We're feeling what's coming, the weather, earthquakes, tremors, volcanoes. We can feel. Also from the heart upwards, universal intuition. Our higher self and guides are always telling us stuff. But if we're connected to both channels, we are really guided earthly and cosmically, and we can move through the world that way safely. I remember channels telling me years ago, spiritual teachers saying, you need to listen to your intuition, because your intuition will tell you when to move and when it's a safe area, when's, you know, all of this stuff. Before the lockdown, I moved out of London. I lived there for 57 years, all my life. Before I got the message, go. I'm like, oh, go to the sea. Okay. I went, I'm living by the sea now. And so when it happened, you know, the fresh air, I mean, in London, it's full of the metro. Social distancing on the metro is impossible. You know, you social distance with someone in your face, you know. And so it was a really good advice. I followed the advice. So intuition has some very practical benefits. You know, if you're not connected to intuition, bang, you know. My intuition told me not to get any pharmaceutical interventions. And I am really happy with that decision. You know, people who followed a different advice, people in my family who followed something different, have been suffering consequences of that. And I'm still advising them, please, no more chemicals in your body. You don't need chemicals. There's so many natural things which can help you. And the media just ramped the fear, because fear will disconnect us from our intuition. And this is what you must have seen it where you were as well. The media was like, bang, 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 fear, 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 fear. And people listen to it, and immediately their intuition is disconnected, because the moment somebody has very strong emotions, anger, fear, rage, you can't feel your intuition in the same way. You have to be neutral. You have to be more still, like a mirror. Your mind and emotional body has to be still for you to feel the vibrations of guidance. If you're always being pulled by the media and by what your friends think and what your mother-in-law says, you have no. And what do you say? I don't know. I don't know what do you think? I don't know. That's what they will say. No connection to their own inner source of guidance. Important to have it.
Yeah, and that is like that. But that on the other side, because of all of this, other people got more connected, and people couldn't go anywhere, and they had to go inside. Yeah. So this also, even if it's also a dark plan, it went the other way. So now more and more people are waking up, more and more people making that connection, and more people speaking out. And we're going to a totally different energy. But like you said, it will take a while, and it is quite chaotic. But we all have, like, even though we don't know exactly where we're going, but we have an idea, like that it will get better.
Yeah. Well, we're shifting from one age to another age. We're kind of in the overlapping energy. The old age hasn't gone yet, and the new age is not fully activated yet, but we're in that age of the two energies: Pisces, Aquarius, Kali Yuga, Satyuga, new age, old age, whatever you want to call it. In Toltec and in Mayan astrology, the calendars, the ending of the age of the fifth sun and the beginning of the age of sixth sun. The age of these two ages reached an equilibrium point in 2012, winter solstice. Those two energies were equal. The further from 2012 we go, the stronger the new age light comes and the old age is waning. What that means is all structures which are aligned with the old age are wobbling badly. Political, financial, corporate, medical, pharmaceutical, all wobbling very badly, and all desperately trying to cling on. But I don't know if you saw The Wizard of Oz, where the magician behind the curtain was pulled, the little doggy ran and pulled the curtain, and the magician said, don't ignore that guy pulling the levers. This is what's happening. The curtain is being pulled. People can see the magicians behind the curtains, the charlatans pulling levers and trying to manipulate people. And it's very hard now for them to hide, because even though they control most of social media, they don't control all of it. And so when people are looking, they'll go to certain platforms and they'll have a look. The one thing I advise people who are very into looking at what's really going on is you can look too deeply into the sewer. And I know people who look too deeply into the sewer. If you look too deeply, the sewer begins to affect you. You start to get angry and raging. And this is affecting a lot of people. A lot of people are raging and angry. You know, they want justice. They want people to be imprisoned or shot, or, you know, all of this kind of thing, because they realize what's going on. But, you know, this is not really the energy. All you need to know is dark forces are there. They have been in control. They're losing control. They're trying a lot of games to keep control, but you can see through those games. And if you know that, I keep my head out of the sewer mostly. I look occasionally just to see what are they doing now, but mostly we need to keep our head in the light and not looking in the sewer too much. You know, too many people have got there, they've jumped into the sewer. They're really in the sewer and they're in the shit going, hey, I see all the shit, I'm really upset. Get out of the shit, really. I think come out. You know, you can stay there too long, and then you'll only upset all of your friends, because all of your friends will get upset with you because you'll keep trying to persuade them about the shit that you see. So I don't know if you know people like that, but
yeah, but it's like sometimes you have to also go through this phase, because the anger gives you also like fire to see like, hey, I want something different. And some people like need this phase to get like that fire in them to make other choices, to make their like change their life. And that's why, but if they stay in it, then like it doesn't help them. But but they need, some people needed to go through this phase to then make other choices, and I think it's all about like taking power back, taking full responsibility, taking your own power back.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're right. That we can spend time looking in the sewer, and it's very intriguing. I spent a couple of years, I jumped right in. I was angry about so many things. I'm like, oh my, I didn't realize, because I was so much in the love and light in the spiritual world. When I came out of it, I could look and go, oh my God, I didn't realize all this dark stuff was going on. I need to tell everyone about it. And I lived in a community, and my friends were kind of getting upset with me going, oh, not that again. You know, we don't want to hear about that again. And my family, not 9/11 again. So, okay. And then I realized, you know, I'm in the sewer too long. I need to come out. So the moment you start pissing off your friends, you know, time to come out. Don't tell them this is the truth. They have to know about it. There are some starseeds who have a mission to be a whistleblower. This is a rare mission. If they have a mission like that, that's their mission. They will do it. You know, Julian Assange, Edward Snowden, Chelsea Manning, these people have a mission. And that mission has really badly shaken these old structures. But most of us don't have that mission to be whistleblowers. It's a very specific mission. And they have to be it's like a hero's journey. To imagine someone like Edward Snowden had to leave Hawaii to go to Hong Kong, then to Russia to escape the CIA grabbing him. He's now living in Moscow. And, you know, it can't be that exciting living in Moscow, really, not at this time especially. But he kind of sacrificed for the greater good. And there are starseeds which will do this, but most of us don't have that mission. It's a very specific mission for some people.
Yeah, we all have different missions. And it's really interesting also to respect each other on the different missions that we are. So that is really, really interesting. And that is also that like we activating each other on our mission. But next to the meditations, what are the other things that you're doing? Because you said you were with a client. What are the things that you do?
I do sessions with people. I'm cutting down a little bit on sessions because I've been doing them intensely for 7 years, but I still do them. I might do about 8 or 9 a week at the moment. I'm booked up till end of October, November now.
Oh, wow.
I do webinars, one every 2 weeks. Some of them practical subjects. We did one with my partner Liz on self-publish your book last night. We do one. There's one coming up on the channel Your Higher Self. So they're a mixture of practical and spiritual. I've got a membership site on YouTube where people can join and actually be taken through a 5D journey if they're interested. Just find my YouTube, Steve Nobel. What else am I doing? I've created a social media site. I got fed up with Facebook. You know, all of the fact checking. I mean, who are these people checking these facts? I don't believe them. They've got no, who are they? Anyway,
yeah,
I
but
think
it's like we're the actual fact checkers. We're the ones questioning the narrative, while they just want to push their narrative.
they're pushing the narrative, yeah.
Obey. But I said, like, we're the original fact checker. We were like questioning the narrative.
Yeah. So I created my own Facebook for starseeds, which is called Our Social Matrix. You can find it on my website. I've created a Telegram channel. I'm very active on Instagram. I'm active on, I'm active on Facebook. I'm active on these places. I put out daily posts. I try and get out something every week in terms of meditation or clearing or healing or something. So I want to put out practical tools as well as information and most of it is free. The majority of it's free. So people can go there. You know, I'm not asking people to sign up to anything. You can sign up to the 5D Ascension School if you want to, but if you don't want to, there's still plenty of material that you can take you a lifetime still to get through, probably. So I'm pretty active, and I'll probably continue to be active for a few years.
Yeah, nice. I will set all the links to your website and your YouTube and your like Facebook. I will put it all underneath so people can find you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so really cool and really amazing what you're doing. I love your meditation. So people really, if you see this, really go to YouTube and do some meditations and like see what kind of reality unfolds for you, because it's like really you go through a whole journey with all.
Yeah, it's a whole journey. I'm taking you on a journey. So yeah. Well, thank you, Yannicka. So it's wonderful speaking with you. I like your name, MissHellbreaker. It's kind of nice.
Yeah, it's my real surname. I come in Dutch, it's Hellebrekers, but in English, it's Hellbreaker. So I feel like I'm living like in paradise, and I broke free, as free as possible, as possible where you're living, and I want to help others break free as well, and all in their life and live life with more happiness and more health. I'm very much about like health and happiness. And that's what I want to share as well. And I'm also a healer, and I'm actually from a place called Heal. So it's
Wow. Okay. Well, lovely chatting with you. Lovely chatting with you.
Yeah, it was really nice, and I love all your your shares and your the inspiration you put in the world. So really thank you for that, and thank you for this talk. And we'll share all the links here. And I would really recommend everybody to watch these meditations, and they really open up a whole new world for you.
Wonderful.
Yay.
Thanks.
Thank you.